All right, in this lesson, let's start designing some basic content for our wireframe. I'm going to do this just for the desktop, and the project is to take all the content we designed for our desktop design and translate it into a design for your tablet and also for the phone experience. To get started, let's do our navigation bar at the top. Again, this is just a simple wireframe, so the look and feel of it is going to change later on. We're going to use some basic shapes. I'll start off with my rectangle. A navigation bar needs to stay at the very top of my design, so I'll set it up here, and maybe for this one, I'll give it a little bit darker so I can see the look and feel of this. Next, below it, I want to have a big hero box, so a large area that's going to be my main call to action. And again, I want this to be above the fold, so I want it to be big enough that it's seen up here as one of the first things. Again, use your guides to make sure it fills up from one column to the last column. And as far as the amount of space, we'll say this looks good for here. Next, I want to have 4 different little callouts that go across this edge. So one more time, I'll grab my thing and I can use my guides to design it. Since I know there needs to be 4, each one of these is going to be exactly 3 columns wide, and I can quickly hold down my Option key to duplicate those and have them evenly spaced apart. Below this, I want to have 2 different callouts for more information. Now, naturally, if I put something down here, it's going to be off my page, and I would need to scroll in order to see it. But right now, my page is just static. It's just one single size. I need to be able to make it dynamic enough to adjust the content and scroll down. Here's how we're going to do that. Click on the name of your frame and go to Prototype Mode. Inside of here, we can turn on our scroll behavior. Notice by default, there's no scrolling. And we want to just be able to scroll vertically. So up and down is how this website's going to go. Now with that set, you can click on the edge of your document and drag down. And you can see how it adds more content to it. And when we go to add more to the design, again, let's go back to our Design tab. And we want to have 2 little callout boxes below here. So both of those can be set down to that. Finally, let's add a footer for more information. I'm going to copy my header, and bring it down, and then drag. And usually a footer is a little bit bigger because we got lots of little links that go from there. And then finally, we're going to readjust the size of my artboard to match the bottom of my footer. So this can drag up and stick right there. All right, so we've got a basic little layout. Let's go into Prototype and test the look and feel of it. This loads up and looks nice. As I scroll down, now I can scroll and it hits the footer. So there's my layout for all the content that I have. Next, let's add a couple of more details to our design. So I need to add my links at the top and some information down at the bottom. Going back to my little website layout here. Let's add on a couple of details. Right now, my grid, I've got everything placed where I want it. My grid's getting in the way. If you ever want to toggle visibility for your grid, just to turn on and off, you can, of course, go back to your design mode, down to your grid guide, and if you click on the little eyeball, it'll turn off your grid for that particular layout. Shift-G is also the keyboard shortcut to turn on and off a grid. Just make sure you got the right thing selected to be able to see it. You're not going to work for me, are you? It's turning it off for the other ones. But, oh, I know why. It's because I've got it turned off down here. Turn it on. Now Shift-G works for that. All right, Mr. Ivy, let's go back and start working on the details. Going up to our navigation bar, I need to have a logo and a couple of links and a little call to action button. So to make my logo, I'm just going to grab my type box and type in real big logo here. We'll make it super big. Maybe something nice and bold for its design. Yeah, good enough. And since it's going to be a logo, maybe I'll put a little box around it to indicate that it's also going to be inside of something. So there's that, and let's send it backwards to put my logo up for that. Remember, you can group things together by going up to Object and creating it as a group selection. And now I can move both of those around. I'm going to align mine nice to my grid so it's lined up on this edge. Nothing says that you have to use the grid for everything. If I really did want to use the grid, maybe I could make it big enough to cover those 3 columns. It doesn't have to, since this is kind of its own individual design. For my links, however, I'm going to grab my type tool one more time, and I've got 4 different links that I want. I want to know how to find a gem. That can be one of them. Maybe I'll center this up to make it simple. Copy that over. I want to know about training. We'll copy that over as well. I want to know about a cost or a price, excuse me. And then the last one is for a shop that they have. And then finally, I want to have another button off to the side here for join now. We'll do that in all caps. Oops, Join. Now, since this is a button and not a logo, I'm going to double click on my little rectangle and let's round off the sides of it. Excuse me, let's just choose the rectangle itself. Got it. Round off the corners. Increasing this, maybe we'll do it as 25. Yeah, that feels more like a button now. Finally, we need to play around with the placement and spacing of everything. I can select all of these, and going over to my positioning, I can tell them to be center aligned. And then finally, with all of them selected, if I wanted them to be equally spaced, I can click on this little button off to the side, and I can tell them to distribute them horizontally and have them evenly spaced across this way. Now, of course, they're evenly spaced based on the size of their text boxes, not necessarily the name that they're working on. But for what we have, I think that looks okay. Now, for our hero box, we want this to have a big marketing message. So one more time, grab your type tool and say something like marketing message goes here. And then, of course, we can make this nice and large. We just want to be able to see it and have it on there, ready to go. Below this marketing message, I also want to have a copy of my button to join now. Now, when I did this, obviously I can't see it. So let's give it a little bit of a stroke effect going around. Oops, let's go around just my thing here. So I'll add that and make it look a whole lot more like a actual button. I don't want it to go around the text though. So I'm going to ungroup this. Now I can choose my rectangle and I can add my little stroke around this as well too. Now it's feeling better. If I wanted to take it a step further, maybe I can even change the color of it to feel different. So I can join now for both of those. Group those together and I'll have that. And then over on this side is going to be just, this will be like one big picture or something that could go along with it. Remember, to indicate something as a picture, we need to have like a little picture icon, and you can find that in your assets. So I'm going to search my libraries for a picture or photo. That's what it is. Here's my photo material. Drag it into here and I can resize it so that people know that there's a photo on there. Same way for down here. These are going to be just a bunch of different photos. So I'm going to resize those and simply place it nice and in the middle of each one of those. Duplicate it and keep it simple. For these, there's also going to be some text for it. You could say marketing message, or we're just going to call this subtitle TITL, call out message. We don't want this to be as big as up here. We want to give it a different level of hierarchy. So I'm going to make it about half the size, and let's even make it a different color. So for my color, we'll fill it in with white. Whatever fits for you. We'll put a message down here. Finally, for my footer, we want to have some simple little links to our social media page, we want to have our logo down here, as well as some common links and our address. So for this, let's make just a copy of this. We'll have our socials, and then we'll have Twitter, Facebook. Nobody uses Twitter anymore. Go away. Let's do Instagram. Highlight that. Oop, gotta make my text box bigger. That's why I can't do it. Let's do Instagram. INSTA. Instagram. And then our website. We'll make those much smaller since it's down here on the bottom. And we'll make those feel different by making them maybe a little bit thinner. So there's our socials. And then we'll do our contact information. Right now I've got everything inside of here. I want this to be just basic alignment. Now I can move things around. Copy that. We'll have important links in each one of those. So here's link 1, link 2, link 3, so on and so forth, link 4. And maybe for these, we'll keep them consistent as well too. So instead of bold, we'll make it light. And I'm going to give it a little bit more spacing between everything. Highlight my text if I want more line spacing. So this is the line height that I'm adjusting now, instead of it being auto. And over here on this side, I want to have my logo. Once again, we'll place my logo maybe a little bit bigger. And let's do our contact information. So I'm going to design something for the contact. We'll put this to be aligned to the left. And so we'll do our address, phone, address, street, city, state, zip, and then phone number. Actually, let's do a 555-123-4567. But we'll make this much bigger. However you want to design this, as long as you've got something for your footer that's got important links, links for your socials down here, we'll deal with the specifics later on.